Hello, everybody, and welcome again to Nerd of the Third Power, your one-stop shop for all things nerdy and awesome. I'm your host and master of ceremonies, Dr. Gonzo. With me, as always, and looking rather soggy right now, is our resident anime goddess, the Cat. Cat, what's with the waterworks?
Sorry, my whole state is underwater right now. All the roads are closed. There's flooding everywhere. I can make it to work, but most of my friends can't. And it's gonna rain for probably 3 more days this week. So,
your friends don't own boats?
Actually, some of them do. One of my friends who is super late to work today actually owns a boat, but that's not how the rivers work. So, we're pretty screwed.
I don't know. I think it'd be pretty cool to have to be able to canoe to work. Just be paddling along, singing a song, and we'll go boating. Boating.
I think it would be a lot funnier if people hadn't already died, but that's just me.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah. Way to bring the mood down. Brian, cheer us up.
With what? Do you want me to do a song and dance? Because that's not happening.
So how you been, Brian?
I mean, everything's going as well as one could be over here. I'm not getting rained out anytime soon. All the storms can be much farther north of me, so it's just kind of hot in Texas.
I see that you took a page out of my book and joined the Brotherhood of the Bald. How's that treating you so far?
It's been one day, so good.
What prompted this change? If you don't mind me asking, from one scalp head to another.
I was losing my hair anyway, so I said, screw it.
Oh, god damn. This is just getting really depressing all of a sudden. All right, let's move on to happier topics. Skyblaze is, not necessarily, this isn't really a happier topic, but it needs addressing anyway. Skyblaze is not with us tonight. Her job is keeping her real job, her paying job is keeping her somewhat busy, so she will not be with us tonight. Sad face. And especially disappointing because this is our 200th episode. Yay! No one thought we'd make it this far.
Literally.
Least of all us. I remember when I first approached Kat with the idea of starting a podcast. She was like, "You realize we're not going to make it to 12 episodes, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, probably." We surprised even ourselves.
We do that sometimes.
So yeah, it's gonna be a pretty light show tonight. We're gonna reward ourselves by kind of taking it easy this week, and we're just gonna clean out the Ask a Geek kitty. So we're gonna be going through some of the backlog of questions and gonna have some fun with that. But of course, there is procedure to follow, so we are going to begin, as always, by following up on last week's random topic of the week. And last week's topic was technology that you used to be able to live without, but now can't possibly imagine your life without. And I gotta say, the top 3 responses that we've gotten for this topic were wireless internet, USB drives, excuse me, and touch screens. Those are the 3 big ones that we've got. And I got a hard time disagreeing with those. Bro, what do you guys think of those top 3s?
I use touchscreens at work. There are days I can live without them. They sometimes don't work as well as people think they do.
Yeah, I'm not super fond of my touchscreen technology that I have at work, but on my phone, it's fantastic.
The big one that I was surprised. I don't recall if we brought it up last week, but I'm not surprised at all that we got a whole bunch of responses for it is wireless internet. And yeah, I totally agree with that. Like if I go somewhere and there's no Wi-Fi, I'm like a heroin junkie needing a fix. Like you can be connected, you need Facebook, and it's just not a great scene. One here is from Ryan, and he writes, "I work on cars for a living, and I have learned that I cannot live without a tire gauge with a digital readout. I have since completely forgotten how to read the old-style ones with the notches." So, yeah, okay, all right, that's one that's kind of off the beaten path.
The old ones are the ones that you would put into a tire and it goes, and like a little ruler would pop out, right?
Oh, I still have that. I have one of those. It's awful.
I have never been able to get an accurate read on one because the last time I tried to take the pressure on one of my tires, the tire fucking exploded on me, and that was not a good day. But that's neither here nor there. Brian, a lot of people are in the same boat. they've completely forgotten how to read maps because of a GPS tracking.
Yay, I guess. One day that's going to come and bite us all in the ass, I'm telling you.
Okay. Oh, and here's one coming from the opposite side. Here's one. Here's someone who's working in an area that's in a place that's behind the times. This one comes from Shelly, and she writes, I work in a clothing store that our credit card machines are still the ones that take the rubbings, like the old ones from the 80s and 90s, where you have to actually mail in the slips.
God.
We've been petitioning the boss for months to get a computerized one, but to no avail.
That is
credit
really
card companies
horrible.
still take the slips?
Evidently. I mean, God, the last time I remember seeing one of those, I was like 4.
I've done those before when I used to work at Best Buy, and like for some reason or another, the card wouldn't swipe correctly. Yeah, and then you take the imprint. It's awful.
I think it's just funny because I remember those back as a child. It was just, I thought a gun was cocking, just.
Oh, and let's see. What's another one here that we got a lot for? Cordless telephones. That was one that came in from Peter. He says he cannot imagine living in a home that has a corded phone. He saw one at his aunt's house and thought that he traveled back in time.
You know, everybody at my work has a corded phone except for me. I'm the only one. Literally, in a company of 200 people, I have a handset, and that's it.
You want to talk about technology that I don't see anymore? Fucking landlines in general. I think that like nobody my age that I know has a landline in their home. They strictly talk with their cell phone.
Yeah, but until you get to a workplace, and then everybody has, some sort of corded telephone or something, and that's because they don't make handsets like the hands-free telephones where you can fucking Bluetooth to it. So I'm the only person in my company who has, a handset for a phone that I can walk around with. But on the other hand, if I have a really long conference call, I have to have a 2.5 millimeter auxiliary headset hooked up to it. And it's horrible because there are no comfortable ones of these left in the world.
Yeah, I think it's like some kind of law that if you have to wear a headset for they have to be the most damning, uncomfortably designed things ever made. We have to use them at the company that I work for, which I won't name because they will fire me. And they were so on. Originally, the company was going to phase out the desk phones in favor of the headsets, but we pitched a bitch so hard that they actually reversed the decision, and now they want us to only use the handsets instead of the headsets. So make of that what you will.
Yeah, wow.
There's a YouTube video or a video on the internet of a father asking their child to hang up the phone in a hotel room, and the daughter had no idea how to do it. Like she didn't realize you just put it back on the where it came from. She's like, "There's no buttons." And I was like, "This." At the time, I was like, "This feels fake," but at the same time, I was like, "This also could be true."
Oh man, you want to know something that was the other day? I was out shopping for computer parts at Micro Center, shout out, and there was a woman with her kid there, and the kid, in all seriousness, turns to her mother and asks, "Mommy, what's that square on the save icon?"
You mean the disc?
Yeah. She didn't know what a floppy disk was.
Well, I mean, it's just, I guess, a younger generation, brother. I don't know what to tell you.
It's like, yeah, okay. But anyway, so yeah.
With them and they never will. God bless.
Who says we're not leaving a better world for the following generations? You will never have to know the hell that is trying to save something on a floppy disk and finding out that it's like a tenth of a megabyte over the disk capacity.
And the sound they made.
Oh God! See, I'm old enough to remember like not just the smaller 3x5 inches. I remember the big 6-inch fuckers, the ones that were actually floppy.
Yeah, I remember those too. The floppy disk versus the hard disks.
Alrighty, so that was our random topic of the week for last week, and so we're not really doing kind of a random topic. We kind of had this planned out since it is our 200th episode. Just. Wow, like it this one kind of snuck up on us. We didn't even really realize it was our 200th episode until like 3 weeks ago. was just like, hey, Brian, what episode are we on? 197? Shit, we've got nothing planned for 200. So, but it's been a really great past 100 episodes. We've had our ups, we've had our downs, we've had our smiles, we've had our frowns, and that's why I think we should be crowned the kings of limbo. Only 4 people are going to get that joke, but those 4 people are howling. So let's kind of let's take stock and kind of take a look back at some of our favorite moments of the past 100 episodes. So, Kat, let's start with you. What's a favorite moment from the last 100 episodes that you've had?
I literally don't even know, because we've done 100 fucking episodes since the last time we did an introspective show, and I don't know what I had for breakfast this morning.
And it wasn't something that we did in the show itself, but something that really cool. It kind of happened on the side. When Tom was our tech guy, he liked to go out of his way to do some extra projects for us. And one of the things that he did, and it's actually on our YouTube page, in our playlist, is he went and took a clip from, I think it was Brian's introductory episode, where he was telling where he was from, and got it animated. So there's actually a little mini cartoon about Brian talking about how if he doesn't call Texas the great state of Texas, he'll get visited by a cowboy.
No, that wasn't one of my introductory episodes. That was just me being silly one day. But yeah, that's pretty. I know what you're talking about.
So, and let's see. Then there was when we had Jason Young. We had a lot of fun with that episode, interviewing him. So yeah, and we've made some changes to the show. We haven't done headlines in a really long time, and the reason for that is because as we've mentioned for a while now, we've wanted to get a website up and going, and working on it, and we've had the domain and the space for years, but we just haven't been able to get anything done with it. But we have an announcement to make this episode, and that is that we finally got off our butts and got ourselves a webmaster, and he has built for us a brand new shiny website at www.nerdofthethirdpower.com, and it's up and ready to go. And we don't quite know yet what we're going to do outside of the podcast for what we're going to go on it, but I can tell you we've definitely got some stuff in the works that we're really excited to have a canvas of our own. As opposed to having to rely on other people, which, that didn't work out too well for us. But, we're really excited. This is a big step for us. And, going forward, you're going to find not just the podcast there, but also any other content that's going to be up there. I can tell you, I've gone through the Wayback Machine, and I pulled my old articles from that guy with the glasses, and I'm going to be touching those up and putting them on there. And I'm going to be starting up a game review series. Not sure yet if it's going to be written articles or videos. I really want to get back into writing. I had a lot of fun writing, so I might do a little bit of each. And then, Brian, I think you mentioned that you were working on something for a while.
I've always been dabbling going back in the video producing area. I had my little video about Captain America, and it felt good to kind of do that again. So you never know. But at the same time, I'll have to kind of tell everyone that even though this website is going to be up and going and we will be doing our best here, I do have a full-time job I have to take care of. So podcast job and things like that is going to come first, but always I'm going to try to kind of expand out and show you guys a little bit more of me and a little bit more of my let's say, I'm going to say talent. That's putting me on a pedestal I cannot reach.
Oh, but it's
amateurish. Let's put it that way.
Oh, but it's a pedestal that you well deserve. Everybody give. So, but yeah, we don't quite know yet what all's going to be there, but we know that we're going to have a lot of fun doing it, and we look forward to being able to share more of ourselves with you, more of our knowledge, our thoughts, opinions, and just in general, just giving you guys more stuff to have fun with. So yeah, like I said, we're really excited about this, and keep an eye on nerdofthethird.power.com in the future for some more awesome stuff. So yeah, we're really excited about that. So that's sort of the big announcement here. And of course, the podcast is still going to keep going, and we're kind of experimenting with stuff to try and fill the void left by headlines, since we're kind of moving that stuff to the website, which is why we introduced the random topic of the week, which I got to say, so far we're getting a pretty enthusiastic response for. So, like I said, we're trying new things out, and we're entering into a growth phase, which I'm really excited about. So I think I've said that about 100 times now. So anyway, with that out of the way, like I said, we're take it easy this week and go ahead and clear out some of the backlog on the Ask a Geek questions because we got a fair bit of them. So let me dig through the pile here. Let's see. Here's a good one here to all of us. I'm kind of disappointed Skyblaze isn't here because, like I said, this is a good one for all of us. This one's from Erin, and she writes, if all the other members of the show came to visit you, what places near where you live would you take to show them around your home? So, Brian, I'm gonna start with you on this. If me, Kat, and Skyblaze came to visit you down in San Antonio, in Kat's case, it would be a return visit. What sites would you show us around San Antonio?
I mean, as much as I love the city of San Antonio, we only really have the Alamo, which is a great site to go and visit. But we have things around the Alamo. It's become a big sort of touristy area right there. But other than that, maybe I'll show you like the comic shops I like to go to and things like that. And there's a Ripley's Believe It or Not museum, which I will find any excuse to go to just because I love it. But that's pretty much it. The River Walk, which is around the Alamo in San Antonio, got some great restaurants and some things like that. The Slackers Bar, where it just has is a sports bar with a video game arcade in the back. So pretty cool place to hang out.
Nice. So what's the local specialty in San Antonio?
Tacos. You like tacos? Because we love tacos. And I don't mean like shit tacos. I mean like fucking real street authentic tacos.
Not Taco Bell tacos. OG tacos.
No. I mean tacos, it has the meat and the cheese and the soft tortilla and everything. Oh, it's so good. I'm hungry now.
And the ingredients you can actually identify.
Yeah, kind of. And then there's we got some great barbecue. Rudy's is a fantastic barbecue location down here. You can't go to Texas without having some barbecue.
Oops, I did it wrong.
That just means you have to come back.
Oh yeah.
Okay, well, let's see. If you guys came to visit me, let's see. I would have to take you to something medieval themed, whether that be medieval times at Arundel Mills or the Maryland Renaissance Festival.
Can you pick someplace I didn't work at?
If you guys visit the time when it was in season, I'd take you to an actual jousting competition because I learned last week that jousting is actually our Maryland state sport.
How did you not know that?
You know what? I didn't know that until it was mentioned on a radio show that I listened to, and I looked it up. I was like, holy shit, they're not lying. But yeah, I'll tell you what, that certainly explains why our flag looks as weird as it does. It's not a flag, it's a coat of arms.
Seriously. Maybe I knew that because I worked at both Medieval Times and the Renaissance Festival. But yeah, jousting really is the state sport of Maryland.
Yeah, so like we definitely have to do that. Outside of that, like I said, local, take you down to Chicken Ruth's in Annapolis, where you can get some awesome fucking crab dip with real Maryland crab, not that trashy stuff you get down in Florida, and the best milkshakes you will ever taste, like just hands down. And let's see, other big sites. I mean, of course, we have to hit up Baltimore, knock over the Inner Harbor, and
I mean, we don't really. Do we have to hit up Baltimore because,
or can we stay alive?
Well, I mean, at the very least, you got to see the Maryland sign. And you got to see the Goddard Space Center. Like those,
Goddard, I would go to.
Like, and if you're any type of geek, you've got to go to at least one of those. So okay, yeah. So that would be and of course DC's on our doorstep. So if you want to go hit the monuments, we could do that. Kat, what about you?
I lived there for like 8 years. That's okay.
Okay. So Kat, what about you? If we came to visit you in St. Louis, where would you say we would have to go?
Okay, we would have to go to Forest Park. Which is where the World's Fair was held many, many years ago. Right now, Forest Park is absolutely a really cool place. You say we've got to go to the Science Center in Baltimore. We could take you to the free Science Center in St. Louis, or the free zoo, or the free theater, or the free everything else, because everything in Forest Park is free. It's a really great place to go on weekends. There's lots of cool festivals that happen down there, including like beer and bacon festivals. Just saying. And then if
one of those things I love.
If you got tired of all this cool free shit, then I would take you to what is legitimately the coolest place in the whole of St. Louis, which is the City Museum. Now, museum, boring. No, the City Museum is a misnomer. It's in the city. It's not a museum. What it is that many years ago, this absolutely insane guy went and bought an old shoe factory and rehabbed it into a 10-story playground that anyone of any age can play in as long as you can fit through stuff, which is not really that difficult. So there's, it's basically an indoor industrial playground. Some of it is built to look like trees and you climb around in these trees. There's one part of it that's like a giant whale and you can come out of the whale's vagina. There's
hello there. What? I blinked out for a second there. What?
Well, hello there.
You heard me. You can come out of the whale's mouth too, but more people enjoy coming out of the vagina. I don't know. Part of it is decorated to look like caves with like these cool light up stuff, and there's an organ playing. There is a 10-story slide. If you go up onto the roof, I think there's a plane on the roof. Maybe not. Maybe there's just a bus, and the bus hangs over halfway off the building, and you can crawl through it and look over the side of the building and feel like you're going to die. There is a plane that hangs off of the side of the building, but I don't think it's on the roof.
Can I ask a question? Are you allowed to pet the Oompa Loompas as well? Because what you're just describing sounds like Willy Wonka's chocolate factory for science.
Well, the Oompa Loompas would be the children that go there, but there's also 2 bars, a thrift shop. There is a museum on one of the floors, but it's like all old industrial stuff. Like, here's all these bottle caps that the guy got, and here's all of these other things. Like, it's such a strange place. There's also a ball pit outside for kids and a fire pit that I have been to when they have been roasting s'mores. People do their weddings there. Schools do like lock-ins and stuff overnight. It's such a cool place. I can't even begin to describe how cool it is. You actually just need to Google St. Louis City Museum and go to their website and look at the pictures, because it's unbelievable. It's absolutely insane. And one of my friends used to work there, and her whole family worked there. Actually, I forgot to mention the circus that's inside. There's actually a small performing circus in there. So like her family, some of them worked concessions there, some of them worked for the circus there. So she's like, my friend has basically worked there her entire life and can get us free tickets and stuff. It's totally awesome. It's really hard to picture, so you just have to Google it. But I assure you, if you ever come to St. Louis, you must go there at your own risk, of course, because it's really dangerous.
Well, I think we know where Kat is going to go once we're done recording, assuming that she can get there by boat. All right.
I'm actually going next weekend because when we have Anime St. Louis, the big convention around here, we take all of our guests every year, and they have also voice actors and stuff about it. And we've actually had guests who have been like, I need to come to your convention so I can go to this crazy place.
All right. What about the local delicacies? What's the one eatery that we absolutely have to get the genuine St. Louis flavor?
Oh God. See, St. Louis is a weird town because obviously it's a barbecue town, but really the best sauce is the Kansas City sauce. But we have really good barbecue. So Pappy's or Bogart's in the city would be fantastic. But it's also a super Italian city, despite being a French named city. So I could take you to the Hill where all of the Italians live and there's all the good Italian restaurants. Or I could take you to the Loop where there's like 3 Thai restaurants because we also have a large Thai population. Or I could take you down the other way to where all the Bosnians live and then get you some good German/Bosnian food.
Well, damn, you just got a little slice of everything over there, don't you?
We really do. It's kind of strange. There's like one good Chinese restaurant in the whole of this area. It's actually kind of disappointing in that factor because like when I lived back in Baltimore, you could go to DC and go to Chinatown and get the unbelievably good food.
Okay. Well, I hope there's room at your place because I know where our first tea retreat is going to be. Guys, we're going to St. Louis.
I have a slice of couch you can lie down on.
We'll just have to fight over it. And Skyblaze will win because she'll bring a sword.
She'll have checked it. But it'll still miraculously make it through customs.
All righty, okay.
I'm still lost in the fact that I just learned in the year 2017 that there is a state which main sport is jousting.
Is that more or less surprising than you can go to a place where you pop out of a whale's vagina?
I don't know.
There's actual fucking jousting leagues. It's fucking crazy. Like, I've looked into this. Like, there are people who are real deep into the jousting game over here. I'm not lying. Like, I have to find out where there's an exhibition or something and go, because that is just badass as fuck.
It's just so odd. I became the normal one in this conversation, and I live in fucking Texas.
All right. Okay. Now a little something. Path. Nick writes in for Brian, and he asks, what would you consider to be the worst major comic book crossover event from both DC and Marvel?
Well, Civil War II is actually kind of up there now. Not the first one. The second one was just as bad, if not worse. Wow, very cynical of me to say that out loud. Civil War II was just, I think, I'm not sure if I would call it the absolute worst one. The absolute worst one was probably Ultimates 3, just because the story went nowhere. They sort of alienated all of the characters and the fans at the same time. The art, when it originally came out, was too dark to actually even look at the artwork. The coloring was too dark to even look at the artwork. The coloring actually be corrected later on in trade paperback. Character death was just, was just thrown out there. Everyone was acting out of character. It's unfortunately, Ultimate 3 was kind of a mess all the way over, and it was sort of the signal that the Ultimate Universe was not going to last much longer after that. They've gotten rid of and killed off so many different characters, and in the Ultimate Universe, dying means they're dead. You can never use them ever again. So by the time the end of that event, the end of Ultimatum actually happened, they had so few characters to use, no one cared about the universe anymore. DC had Cry for Justice, which was almost kind of the same area of that, where it was characters acting really weirdly out of place. You had deaths that really you did not need. It's just there for just awful shock value towards the end, because I think Arsenal lost his daughter and the whole thing. He's like, that's not needed for any sort of character motivation. The idea of at the end of it, Green Arrow, I think, just killing Prometheus and just coming off just cliched and edgy when it didn't need to be edgy. Like, those are the first two that really come to mind when that sort of happens, because they don't feel like they're planned out stories. It's more of a, we need something here, and it's sort of a company manufacturer thing. You sort of editorial by committee that this is stuff we absolutely have to have happen. We think people will like this, and no one's actually saying that they're not. No one's saying these are bad ideas. They just go with it and hope everything works out in the end. So those are my short answers right there. So I was like Ultimates 3 and probably Cry for Justice.
Okay. All right. Okay.
We need Cry for Justice came out, I think, second in that group. And Ultimates 3 was before that.
All right. Next question here comes from Holly, and it is for Kat. And she asked if you have ever seen the anime Keijo, and if so, what do you think of the announcement that the anime is being canceled?
Now, I thought I had heard actually that the manga was being canceled due to the lack of popularity around the anime. So I might be wrong about that, but so basically, for those who don't know, Keijo is this anime that's basically probably the most fan service thing I've ever heard of. It's like girls in combat. It's girls who fight with their boobs and their butts. Okay, that's what it is. It's like combat with TNA, and it's to the point where it's actually comical. I'm told the story is actually decent, but it is what it is. It's a thing made for fan service. It's absurd, is what it is. It's so absurd. It's entertaining, from what I've been told. As I understand it, it actually was only popular in the US, because we just look at it and go, oh, Japan, you're so wacky. This is funny. Whereas Japan, I apparently didn't really like it all that much. And I've been told that they're actually going to cancel. From what I thought was the story, was that actually the manga was canceled because it was just too out there. It wasn't enough of a seller. The anime ran its course and didn't really do the manga any favors. It's strange. It's not something, that sort of thing isn't usually what I've heard. You don't usually hear about an anime getting, a manga getting canceled because of the anime. So again, I'm not 100% sure if that's what happened or if it's just that they canceled the anime, which I don't think they would have canceled the anime because it wouldn't be cancellation if it actually ran its full season. They would just not do more of it.
I'm just so surprised that you're saying it's too weird for Japan, because remember, this is the same country that brought us Kiss players.
Yeah, but see, it's not that it's weird, it's just that it's not their taste. Which is weird because they made it, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to sell well. There are anime, quite a few that are super popular here that were never that popular in Japan. Cowboy Bebop being one of the most prevalent. Never that popular in Japan as it is here. Don't know why. And in any case, it got canceled. It's very strange that it got canceled. I don't blame them because I could never buy into this concept. It's really quite a terrible concept. I know nothing of the execution. But it's about butts. It kind of sucks though, because it's sort of when you just hear it, it kind of sounds like censorship. It kind of sounds like, oh, this is too risque. It's butts and it's boobs, and that, we can't have that. And Japan really, like, the creators there fight really hard against censorship. Just a couple of years ago, there was a lot of movement out of the Japanese government to really increase the amount of censorship going on in manga, or, where you could buy manga if it didn't meet certain requirements. Like basically saying, oh, well, if you show this in your manga, then you're not going to be allowed to sell your manga in this kind of store. You can only buy it in this kind of store. And the creators really banded together and formed groups to try and combat any kind of censorship. Even, so something like this probably wouldn't have been subject to any kind of censorship. It's just, it kind of seems like, oh, they're canceling it because it's too risque, when in fact, this really isn't risque compared to the kinds of things that they prioritize censorship for in Japan.
Could it be like maybe that where it's just it was one of those things where like they tried to make it a joke, or they try to make it sort of like make fun of certain aspects, but no one really caught on to it, and like that's sort of what happened. It was, this will be hilarious, people will love it. People saw it going, we don't find this funny, and like that's sort of what happened.
What's the joke?
Honestly, it could very well be. And it's strange that something like that got such good ratings in America, where we have a culture of outrage over everything. Everything pisses us off. And a lot of people were pissed off about this, but most of people thought, oh, this is just a joke. This is a joke show. It's an absurd commentary, and it's kind of funny. So I think most people took it as exactly what you said. And maybe Japan didn't necessarily find it that way, or maybe it just didn't have the right outlets in Japan. But our sense of humor here and our sense of humor in Japan is extremely different. So it doesn't surprise me that something that we find exceptionally hilarious did not go over so well in Japan.
I want to go back. You said something about taste being different, and you mentioned Cowboy Bebop. I seem to remember you telling me one time that Trigun was another one that was made for a primarily American audience. Do you think maybe that this was a case of maybe this is always intended to be something that was popular in America, and then it just wasn't, because of, like you said, we've got this whole outrage thing going on, that it was kind of just a case of bad timing? Or do you think that this was a case of, again, just kind of a cultural dissonance between the two countries?
I don't really know why this didn't go over so well there. I don't think it was meant for America, honestly. I'm actually surprised this did come over to America. at all. But I guess the concept was so insane that people were just going to pirate it if we didn't license it here. So they just said, fuck it, let's do it. Somebody will watch this garbage. I mean, not to say that the show is garbage. I don't know because I haven't seen it, but it sounds like trash to me.
Well, I had someone, because I know that you're talking, I saw a clip. Someone showed me a clip, and for the longest period of time, I thought it was a parody on fighting anime, because they all had like move names and stuff like that. And I was like, so this is a parody. It's, I mean, not a very good one. After I watched, I was like, you get the joke within 5 seconds, and it's the same joke over and over again, so it gets really boring and repetitive. I was like, so I was like, this is just a parody. Oh, whatever. And I kind of got over it and never looked back.
Honestly, it was a flash in the pan for us, for America, because it was really popular for a couple of months, and everybody was, and now nobody talks about it at all. So, I mean, it sucks that, if I'm remembering correctly, that they're actually canceling the manga or even the anime. I mean, it sucks for the creators and the people who worked on it to have their work scoffed and looked down upon, because they all worked really hard, I'm sure. But it in the end, it was not apparently that memorable. It didn't sell that well, and I'm surprised it wasn't more of a scandal, to be honest.
Okay. All righty. All right. Well, let's see. Next question here. All right. Here's a good one here from Jerry, and he asks all of us, what are you enjoying so far in your respective fields for 2017? So he's basically asking us what's good right now. So Brian, let's start with you. What's good right now in comics?
So far, I mean, I'm really liking what they've done with the Superman series. Rebirth as a whole just has brought DC's characters back up to the forefront, and where I feel like they should be. But what I'm actually kind of liking is Future Quest, which was a maxi series that came out with the Hanna-Barbera superheroes all teaming up together to fight a sort of dimensional monster. Very kind of a callback almost to Darwin Cook's New Frontier, because he helped out with that series a little bit before his unfortunate early passing. Like, that has been a fantastic series. I mean, actually, it's nostalgic. It's well paced. It's kind of cool to see all the sort of updated versions of some of these old Hanna-Barbera superheroes, and like well updated. Not the edgy characters I think a lot of people would expect from them, not the dark and gritty and stuff like that. Very well updated for modern audiences. So like, that's been absolutely fantastic. I think the 12th issue is about to come out pretty soon. So I don't remember it's this month or like maybe even this week, but I'm going to be sad to see it go, because it's been a fantastic series, and hopefully they do some more like of this in this world, this sort of Hanna-Barbera superhero world in the future. What else? And IDW's launched their Hasbro universe, which I do want to talk about later. It's kind of interesting. It's not the best way to launch a universe, but it's definitely something to see that almost what people have always sort of imagined, the toy box sort of scenario, be put on page. So it's kind of be interesting to kind of take a look at that. So I mean, that's some good things going on right now in comic book. Valiant's unfortunately not as spotlighted as it was in the past, but they are doing a bunch of not relaunches, but a new set of adventures coming up here pretty soon that they're pushing for, and they've actually gotten some old licenses back that they had lost, like Turok, Dinosaur Hunter. They got him back finally, so they're going to be doing that, and they're going to be updating some of their old classic characters to sort of expand their catalog as well. So lots of cool things are coming up in the future for Valiant. Right now, they're sort of just treading water. Okay. Not in a bad way. All
right, Kat, what about you? What's good in anime and manga, right?
God, I haven't read or watched a thing. Not one thing. I don't know what has been going on with me for the last 5 months, but I haven't watched anything new from the winter or the spring season. Not a goddamn thing.
Your get up and go, got up and went, huh?
Yeah, for quite a while now, yeah. I've heard
it's hard to get up and go when one of your feet won't move.
Yeah, I think that's part of it, is just like being kind of like depressed over the holiday season and everything, with my being broken and me being in constant pain. Also, then I moved and all that. Like, it's been kind of crazy the last few months, and I haven't wanted to put in the time to sit down and watch something that's subbed, basically. And most things that I would want to watch dubbed are not new.
Okay.
And are harder to get a hold of. I've heard Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid is really. I might check that show out. It looks really moe, which is not my thing, but it's like the hottest, most popular show right now, so I might as well just check it out.
Okay. Well, let's see. For me in gaming, I'd say I'm calling it right now. Breath of the Wild, very on contender for Game of the Year 2017. I loved every minute of it that I played of it so far. I haven't beaten it yet because it's one of those things where it's like you don't want it to end. You just want it to go on forever. I love it so much, and I know that if I beat it, I'm going to be just weeping throughout the whole credits sequence because it's over. And but on the upside, I'll get to start it all over again. Right now, I'm hopping back and forth between Nier Automata, which surprised the hell out of me because I was not a fan at all of the first game. But this one has really drawn me in, and I'm really enjoying it so far. I love the presentation, the art style, and the story has actually got me engaged and interested in it. And I'm absolutely loving it so far. And then Warhammer 40,000 Dawn of War 3 came out last week, which I bought because, of course, I did. I'll buy anything Warhammer 40K. You come out with a Warhammer 40K Cooking Mama, and I would buy it.
Oh my god, that would be the greatest thing in the world.
Today we are cooking steak tartare for the Emperor. Yeah, because that's how much of Games Workshop's bitch I really am. But I'm enjoying that so far. It's one of the few RTS games that I really enjoy playing. Let's see. I've also been fiddling around with Stardew Valley, which is a Harvest Moon knockoff. I think I talked about it on the show a few episodes ago. And again, another one of those things where it's like I was not a fan at all of Harvest Moon, but Stardew Valley, it grabbed me by the neck and just would not let go.
Sounds violent.
Well, no, it's a farming simulator. Is pretty much what it is.
Yeah, but it grabbed you by the neck
and then would not let go. It sounds like it's threatening you. Yeah.
So, let's see.
You will play me or you shall face the consequences.
Now that the Oculus Touch is out, I'm gonna break the Oculus Rift back out and pick up a Touch and try some of the games that are out for it. Because as I mentioned in our VR episode, which we may have to do a follow up on in the near future, I mentioned that the big problem I had was that all I could really do with it was just kind of look around. I couldn't really interact with the world, but the Touch kind of solves that problem. So I'm going to have to pick one of those up and fiddle around with the Touch. And wow, that sounded really dirty. Well, hello there.
Who said it, not me.
Yep. So that's pretty much what's good right now. I haven't played any of the console exclusives, although I resolved that I wouldn't buy a PlayStation 4 until there were at least 3 games out for it that I really wanted to play. And I'll tell you what, Horizon Zero Dawn caused me to wobble because that game looks really fucking awesome. Of course, we recently got the announcement that Kingdom Hearts 3 isn't coming out this year, so I may have to amend my policy. So when Red Dead Redemption 2 comes out, that's when I'll probably finally buckle and buy a PlayStation 4. So
is Red Dead only coming out on PlayStation 4?
I believe it is. It's been a while since we've heard any news. I recall the announcement saying that it was coming out for Xbox One. But given that the first game was on the Xbox 360 as well as the PlayStation 3, it wouldn't surprise me if it came out on the Xbox One as well. The only thing I know is that neither the second game nor the first one are coming to the PC, and that really irritates me. So, but like I said, when Red Dead Redemption 2 comes out, that's going to be when I finally buckle and buy a PlayStation 4, and I'm going to get that and Horizon Zero Dawn. So yeah, that's pretty much what's good in video games right now that I'm playing. So yeah. Let's see. Oh, here's a really good one for Brian because you're deep into the Kickstarter game. And this one comes from Reggie, and he asks, what would be your dream project that you would get, what would be your dream Kickstarter project? Like, what is the thing that if it was announced as being Kickstarter, you would just throw money at?
Seems like I throw money at that site almost every other week. I'm not even sure how to answer that question. I mean, like when Mystery Science Theater came out, I thought that was a dream project, and I said, "Here's my money," and it came true. I really don't know what would be considered like a dream project to like get it, because like heck, what was it? I just got in my Pixel Tactics for Mega Man just the other week because I was really happy about that, and then I'm going to get my Ghostbusters 2 game here in the next end of the month probably. Still waiting on my Evil Dead 2 board game. That's been unfortunately delayed, but it's looking really nice. They keep updating it. So it's a really hard question.
Is that just how you go game shopping now? You don't actually go to a Kickstarter?
Well, here, so in a weird twist, Kickstarter tabletop games have a high success rate over a lot of other things that are on Kickstarter for some reason. So not only
potato salad.
Not only, well, no, you can't. I mean, you couldn't beat potato salad even if you tried. Man, that's a really old reference joke too. That's when like Kickstarter first like was a thing.
Yeah, there's only like given the memory of the current generation, only 3 people are going to get that, but those 3 people are howling.
Yeah, but so what's happening is because there's such a good, I guess, a good callback for it. Or a good percentage of successful Kickstarters that not only are successfully funded, but also like delivered on time and the quality is really high. So a lot of companies, even major companies, are actually going to Kickstarter first before going out into retail stores to basically build up an audience for it, and also get the capital that they need to get it into stores in the first place. It's actually quite clever. And like some of them are even doing like a retail pledges saying if a retail store wants to buy a set of these or whatever, here's what that would do, and this is what you would get, and then you could get like Kickstarter exclusives that you can sell in your store and stuff like that. So it's a cool real like marketplace that sort of has evolved with Kickstarter as the years have gone on. I would love to have, I guess my dream project would be a Kickstarter project that if I give money to, I would get money back somehow and get more money back than I gave in. But that means I have to actually do a Kickstarter, which I don't have anything to do a Kickstarter with because I am not a talented person.
I think they call that the stock market.
Well, no, because this dream project would be something that I would not lose all my money with. Because some dude over there was like, sneezes the wrong way, and some guy over there goes like, "Oh, he's sick. Sell, and everyone's broke." Oh, good. That's exactly what I wanted to do with my $100.
All right, well, let's open this up. Kat, what would be a dream project that you'd throw money at if it showed up on Kickstarter?
Oh man, I don't know. I'm trying to think of something good, like anime related, but like maybe if they brought back the Besums, the Big Eyes Small Mouth tabletop games.
I remember those.
If they like revamped them and wanted to re-release some with more, modern day references in them and stuff, that'd be something I might throw some money at.
Okay. For me, and this is something that I think that would if they actually did this, I think it would win them back a lot of goodwill from their fans. I think if Capcom actually put out a Kickstarter for Mega Man Legends 3, and then they actually like went through with producing and releasing the game, if it got funded, I think that would be just amazing. God knows, they really need they really need a shot in the arm as far as fan support goes, because wow, they're just not doing well right now. And I think that if they did that, if they actually put out a Kickstarter for Mega Man Legends 3 and went through with it, that it could be huge. And there's already precedent for it. We had the Shenmue 3 Kickstarter a couple years ago that made just like gangbusters, and now the game's getting made. So it's not like there isn't precedent for this.
Here's the thing, though: you're looking at only part of you're looking only at the first part, and that's actually the funding part. Because once you get that point, you do have to actually produce it. In terms of video games and how and producing and getting things done, they have a very bad. I wouldn't say very bad, but they have a mixed reaction with Kickstarters and actually producing what was supposed to be produced. Producing at the quality they promised at, producing on time and things like that. So whenever I hear, like, that's why I don't do video game Kickstarters, just because I've heard so many bad things and so many people losing money or not getting the rewards or finally getting the product out and the product is subpar to what it was supposed to be promised. So even if Capcom did do that, I wouldn't be the first to throw money at them, because to me it would feel like you have to then deliver on that project. Shenmue 3, I didn't put anything money to Shenmue 3, you know, and this is a guy who owned the Dreamcast and played Shenmue, because I just don't really trust that they're going to produce what they want or produce what I want them to. I think I'm going to get out of it. Not to rain on your parade.
No. Fair enough. You know, then I guess just, you know, another Shantae game. This one is for all of us. It is from Mark, and he writes, the nuclear apocalypse has happened, the Fallout universe has come true, and you have to wander the wasteland, just the four of you. What skills and talents do you bring to your team's survival?
Well, I can't read a map anymore, so we're fucked.
Okay, all right. So Brian's clearly not our navigator. Kat, what about you? What skills and what skills and talents are you doing? What role do you imagine yourself fulfilling in a team of wasteland wanderers?
I can build a shelter out of a tarp and twigs. I'm trying to think about all of my survival training that I had when I was younger. Really, it's that I can do that.
I like to point out she mentioned shelter as a singular, meaning she has the shelter.
I can build I have built a shelter out of twigs and a tarp, but it held 2 people. So one of y'all can come along. You can fire with that, and Skyblaze will win because she'll bring a sword.
Yeah, that's probably what Skyblaze will bring. She'll bring along her sword skills. And let's see what for me, what Skyblaze knows about swords, I know about firearms. So I could, you know, maintain everybody's guns and, you know, teach people how to shoot. I also know how to fashion my own fishing line and clean and gut a fish. So as long as we're near a fish-bearing body of water, we'll never go hungry.
Sweet.
Kat,
in the nuclear apocalypse that is Fallout, so the fish will have 3 eyes and 2 fins.
And if you eat it, you'll die. But you know, whatever.
Hey,
I don't know enough about the Fallout world, but I can build shelters. I probably with enough time to reacquaint myself, I probably could do some orienteering and read a map and a compass and stuff like that. I have a not a bug out bag, but I have a camping bag with warm things and you know, I would have stuff like iodine tablets for, you know, having potable water and MREs and shit like that. That would last me a little while. And then after that, I'm worthless. I could help rebuild civilization if we needed a leader to, you know, help with that part. But the actual survival part, I've actually thought a long time about if it were the apocalypse, what would I do? And most of the time I just settle on, I would give up. Because what would be the point of living on in an irradiated, zombie-filled, whatever problem the world ends with world?
Man, this is how deep my mind is in the gutter. When you said help rebuild civilization, before you said
no, not that way.
Leader, my mind went a completely different way with that. I was like, okay, I didn't anticipate her volunteering for that kind of thing. It was like, oh, she didn't. Okay, sanity is restored.
You're horrible.
I am.
Okay. Also, for me, it's like you're talking to a guy who does not like the outdoors. Like, I am a city person. I've become a city person. I went on vacation to a lake house with my brother and his family, and then even though that was like modern civilization, there were times I was like, "Can we go to a city? Like, I would like to be near a city." Well, you want to go to town? That's not a town. That place hasn't been updated since 1998. I mean a city.
Let me guess. You're also the one member of your family bugs just attack just viciously.
No, I mean, no, not really. They attack all of us, which I have no idea why my brother insists on being an outdoors person. But like, it was just like, I need stuff. I need things. I need box store full of movies and comics. Like, I'm sorry. Like, that's the way I've become. I am a city slicker.
If there's not a Starbucks within a 3-mile radius of you, shut down.
Well, no, I don't drink coffee, so Starbucks
but that's not
does not help me.
it's not that you drink coffee. It's that's how you denote civilization.
But that's how I denote civilization. If there's a Starbucks around. Oh, okay.
On the topic of lakes, I can canoe and I can kayak, so I could get us across water. I used to have a sailing license and stuff like that. I could probably reacquaint myself on a boat.
Boy, those are going to come quite in handy for you in the next couple of days, aren't they?
Yeah, it's a good thing I know things about water, I guess.
Okay. I know things about water. It's wet.
All right. Let's see. There's another question long. Okay, here's one from Ava, and it's for all of us. And she asked, what are some hobbies that you have outside of what you discuss on the show? So, Brian.
Well, I know things about water.
Okay, Brian, what about you? What's a hobby that you have that you haven't really discussed on the show before?
I don't know. My life is. I think more people on this show know my life than I do at some points. Everything I do, I sort of discuss at one time or another. To be honest with you,
I'm surprised you haven't mentioned how deep you are into the Lego.
Well, no, because that's something that's known. I mean, and even then, like, yeah, that's pretty well known actually. Like that, I like Legos and things like that. I really don't. I have a couple of people at work that are trying to get me back into Magic the Gathering, and I hate them for it because they're drug dealers.
Crack is literally cheaper.
So yeah, I mean, I mean, the only other hobby that I really have is just trying to collect all the old cartoons I used to watch as a child. And go to my half-price books and do treasure hunting for stuff like that, or trade paperbacks and things like that.
That's somewhere you need to take us if we ever come to visit you, is that half-price bookstore, because I swear to God, every fucking time you go there, you come back with something that you post on Facebook, and I'm like, I am so jealous. I need to kill this man and wear him as a skin suit.
Well, I mean, like, I think half-price books, I think goes all the way up to St. Louis. It's just a chain. It's just a chain of places who sell their old, books and movies and stuff like that. That people like me going. I might find something I like. You never really know. I will literally.
And then he comes out with the complete Calvin and Hobbes for like $30. Meanwhile, I'm looking for the same thing on Amazon, and it's like $120.
So to kind of tell the story about that is every so often Half Price Books does, at least the ones around me does weekend sales where like it'll start on a Thursday and it'll be like 20% off, but it ends on a Sunday at 50% off. And so I will treasure hunt. I will go to one shop on like a Thursday and then another. I have a couple around me, so I'll go to a couple different ones. Just so happened that the Sunday that the 50% off was the one where I found the complete Calvin Hobbes set in hardcover. And I think I sent Gonzo a message.
Yeah, he sends me a text. He's like, I don't know. Should I buy this? And I was like, if you don't buy that, we can't be friends anymore.
And so I got it at, not only did I and now things like that at Half Price Books, they actually don't put them on half price. They actually keep them close to what their actual prices are because they're collector's items. But the sale doesn't say that it's only just for like certain parts. It's for the whole store. So yeah, I got the complete Calvin Hobbes at 50% off.
Nice.
Whatever you're finding on Amazon or whatever at the several $100 marks, I got much less. And yeah, I told them to, and I was like, listen, just to let you know, you are an enabler, because like I wasn't sure about getting this, and he's like, you have to get it. And I said, well, if I have to get it,
well, Gonzo said so.
Yeah, I was like, well, I mean, it's a nice little. It's not a centerpiece, but it's actually I had to put it on the bottom of my bookcase that I currently have behind me because I felt like if I put it on the normal shelf, the shelf would break because this is a shitty bookcase.
Okay, Kat, what about you? What are some hobbies that you have outside of what you normally talk about on the show?
Well, I do canoe. I love canoeing. I grew up doing the Girl Scouts, and we lived near water, so I love canoeing. We do like I don't know if you guys have this in other parts of the country, but they do in Missouri and I guess other parts around the Midwest. They do what they call float trips, where you get driven up the river someplace and then you just float your way down on rafts or canoes or kayaks or whatever you want to do. And it's the Midwest, so most people get shit-faced while they're doing it, and you end up at a campsite.
So in Texas we call that tubing.
Tubing, yeah, you do it in tubes here too. We call it floating. We can call it a float trip. Some people make like a whole weekend out of it and camp, but mostly it involves drinking while on the water. So sometimes people don't end up so well. But so I love canoeing. I like to do float trips and stuff like that. I like camping well enough. As I get older, I like camping a lot less. I'm so old. I can't camp anymore. It hurts my back. Lately, I've gotten into photography. I'm really not very good at all, but I bought myself a very expensive camera, and it's beautiful. I love it.
Yeah, she's saying she's not very good. Can I just say, could have fooled me, because I've seen your 365 photo a day challenge, and there are some of your photos. I swear you just ripped them out of the magazine.
There's a couple of good ones in there. I have done a family photo shoot for one of my coworkers, and I didn't charge for it because I didn't feel like I was experienced enough to actually receive money for such goods and services. But she bought me lunch, and that was cool. And we're going to do that again. And last year, I actually have had a paid photo gig before. I shot pictures of families at my aunt's church, which I'm surprised the ground beneath me did not swallow me as I entered the church. But nevertheless, so I'm actually doing that again for Mother's Day this year. And they give me money to take pictures. So that's actually really awesome. Even though it's not a lot of money, it's money at all. And it's fantastic. So if I had to quit my job today and go do something, I'd love to do photography. And I'm trying to take some of the online courses that are available just to get better.
Okay. All right. Well, this for me, this is probably going to be a bit of a surprise. I think I might have mentioned it in passing once or twice, but in high school and for the last couple of years of high school and for a couple of years of college, I was a trained boxer.
Ha! I'm remembering it now. That wasn't like a I can't picture as you as a boxer. That was I remember us talking about this.
Yeah. Well, the thing is if you looked at me just coming out of high school and going into college, you would not have believed it, because I was skinny as a fucking rail back then. But no, the bit of background, for the last 2 years of high school, I went to a boarding school in the middle of bugfuck nowhere, Virginia. There was, it was a church town, around the school. So there was nothing it would be of any interest to a teenager in the early 2000s. So, the school decided that, for the sake of morale, and so that, if we were going to fight each other, we should at least do it safely. That they would start a boxing team, and I tried out and I got on it, and I did pretty well. I think that was more due to the fact that I had severe anger issues that needed to be worked out, to being trapped in the middle of bugfuck nowhere. But no, I was for the junior and senior year, I was on the school boxing team, and then I fell out of it for about a year or so after I graduated, and then Kat, just after you went off to Japan to pursue your 4-year degree, I found a gym up in Baltimore that I joined, and I boxed for a little bit there, and then I fell out of it again, and now it's I'd like to get back into it, but I don't have the body. I'm just this fat slug. I'm practically Jabba the Hutt now. So
well, you have to get back into it to get back into it, So my roommate, who's in the other room probably listening, used to play volleyball, and she's kind of out of shape now and put on some weight, but she's like, fuck it, I want to play volleyball again. So she's actually getting back into shape via playing volleyball, and she's just joined a rec league and goes every Wednesday. And it looks like a lot of fun. If I weren't a person who died at sports, I would do something like that.
Well, it's been a few years, and I am cholesterol level is off this. It literally, when I got the test results back, it just said "Holy fuck!" So I need to do something, and so I don't know. Maybe I'll get back into boxing again pretty soon. Because I am going to the gym on the regular. Maybe I'll get back into it. Let's see. Other hobbies that I have. I used to play Warhammer 40K way back in the day. But, I was kind of in the same boat as Brian with Magic the Gathering. Crack is literally cheaper. So I just couldn't afford it. And then the one time I had enough money to get back into it, I refused to do so out of protest because that was during the days when Matt Ward was running the show, and he was writing stupid-ass things in the stories like Space Marines slaughtering Sisters of Battle and wearing their blood as a ward against demons. It's like, no, that's fucking stupid. Let's see. I think I mentioned I did freelance computer repair. I'm also a World War II history nut. I read a lot of history books, and I love visiting historical sites. And that's about it. That's the only other really. I mean, the only other thing is I'm a firearms enthusiast. I like to go to the shooting range every now and then. But that's about it. That's about all the other hobbies that I've had that haven't really been discussed on the show. So, but I think boxing is the one. That's the one that I get the most raised eyebrows at. Like I tell people I go to the shooting range, like, oh, okay, and I like to read history books. Oh, okay. I tell people I used to box. What? So, and then occasionally I'm in a group of friends. I tell that to, and one of them's drunk, and he's like, "Fight me, fucker!" And I'm just like, "No, that's not how this works."
Bye.
So yeah. So, and okay, looks like we're running a little long here. So, okay, that's about all the third power this week. So, like I said, we just kind of took it easy this week, kind of just cleared out some of the backlog on our Ask a Geek questions, and we're gonna have to do this a little bit more in the future because we got quite a backlog here. So, yeah. So once again, thank you as always for tuning in. Thank you for sticking with us for 200 episodes. Here's 200 more. And we hope that you guys will keep an eye on the website. There's going to be a lot of cool stuff showing up there in the future. We don't necessarily know what, but hey, right now the sky's the limit. And thank you as always for tuning in. Words cannot describe how much we appreciate our regular listeners who've stuck with us through the ups and the downs. And, I've maintained since day one, we may not have the largest audience, but we have the best audience, and I will fight the man who says otherwise.
We love all 5 of you.
No, it's more than that. But, like I said, we're eternally grateful for everybody who tunes in every week, and we love hearing from you guys, and we love being able to produce a show that you enjoy, and we hope that we can produce more stuff that you enjoy in the future. So thank you, as always, for tuning in. We will see you next week for What is on the Rotation, Brian?
I do believe next week is going into the
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Wait, what was that again?
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right, yes. We are talking about, what was it again?
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yes, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yes, we kick off our summer movie season with Guardians of the Galaxy 2, which Kat is clearly looking forward to.
I'm so excited.
So that'll be a lot of fun. So we will see you next week. Thank you as always for tuning in. As always, I'm Dr. Gonzo.
I'm the cat.
And I'm Brian.
All right, we will see you next week. Taka, play us out.